All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Before I do, just want to turn the time over to Deanne for a quick mortgage minute, and then we've got our guest speakers here. So I think you guys will get a lot out of tonight. We've got a great topic, and just if you could mute your lines, you'll get a lot out of tonight's session, I think.
Hi, everyone. Hey, it's Deanne over at Movement. Hello. I just wanted to let you know I put a link of our webinar today with Barry Habib. He's the financial guru in the mortgage state. So please copy the link, listen to the webinar at your convenience, and I promise you it will motivate you for 2023. Mortgage interest rates are in between, on a jumbo, maybe 6% at par. You could buy it down to like 5.75 at a point. Whereas conventional and FHA, we're still looking at that 6 3/8 to 6.5%. So yes, better than they were 30 days ago. And we're hoping for things to even get better from here on. And just one little thing that may trigger some interest is Movement just took on about 100 employees from Caliber. It's not a total acquisition, but there's a couple big teams of Caliber that will be that have accepted positions with Movement Mortgage. So yeah, take a look. Even your favorite loan officer might be part of Movement now. So it's true. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me, 206-678-5946. Thanks.
Well, Deanne, can you go ahead and post that? I don't think everybody saw it in the chat. We had people jumping in. We've got a few more that are jumping in.
You bet.
Repost the link. That would be great. And also just put your phone number in the link as well. That would be great for some people that want to give you a try.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're working this end of the year.
I'm working. Yep, I am. I'm trying to get you.
There we go. All right, super. Okay. Thank you, Deanne, for that. Appreciate it. I'm going solo today. Shannon's, it's her wedding anniversary. We were just talking about that. My co-host, Matt, is my sister and also my better half on these Zoom meetings. So I'm trying to run point, give her the night off with her husband. She's going on, I think, 7 years. Hopefully I told Deanne, I said, it's not the 7-year itch. We don't want to talk about that, but she does a great job of running these Zoom meetings for us on Monday night. So definitely, if you have a question, go ahead and put it into the chat. But just want to welcome Matt Rody, who has done some DADUs for, I think, construction and definitely knows the process. He's done this presentation a few times, and I think is definitely an expert in what we all probably want to learn, as far as how do we do these things, where do we start? And Lisa Schultz, I know, has started a DADU, is that right? So Lisa's here to kind of also ask questions. So Matt, I'm just going to turn it right over to you. What's the most commonly asked question that you get on this whole topic?
Well, what's a DADU, Detached Accessory Dwelling Unit? That's what it stands for. It's detached from the house. So it is a smaller structure than the existing home. And it's usually put on the side, if it's a corner lot, or the back of an existing dwelling. So that's what a detached accessory dwelling looks like. We're going to be using Lisa as the example tonight because I built one for her and she's got it right now. And hers specifically was a house with a, we built the detached accessory dwelling unit behind and we attached a garage onto that unit. So it's a garage with a unit as well as the house on the one lot. Oh, you muted yourself, Rochelle.
I told you, I don't have my better half. It's helping me tonight. What was the process like? I guess this is a question for Lisa. When you decided to hire Matt, what did that look like? Was it just kind of like financials, looking at your investment portfolio, or looking at opportunities that maybe people weren't taking advantage of?
Definitely advantages. People weren't taking advantage of it. I'd been reading a lot about it. We received a lot of information through customer research, asking for it. I'm not going to take a lot of time, but I will tell you some key factors. Number one, hire somebody first that knows what they're doing. That's really good. Matt literally came in with a cape, and thank goodness for me that I've had a 20-year relationship with Matt. And I literally just called him up and said, I am stuck with this current contractor. And after he got done spanking me over a cup of Starbucks, he then decided I was willing to be worked with. And his team literally got everything done. They broke ground in May, and they were really much done in 82 days, you guys.
Wow.
Ground to ceiling to tenants moving in, 82 days. I had less than a 7-item punch list. That is what you need, speed to lead in the rental market. From the time I started my rental and I committed to the tenants at $1,200 a month for, what was it, Matt, 782 square feet?
You're
with the garage.
5 something, and then it's 200 and some square foot garage. So it's a very small 2-bedroom. It's about as small a 2-bedroom as you can build.
It really is. And by the time I got done, I should have rented it for $1,480 to $1,500. So that is your potential. So speed to lead, go back to Matt, get somebody that understands the system, understands the city or county that you're working with, because that makes a huge difference.
Now, is it pretty much all of the counties that are, or all the cities that are offering this DADUs, or are there certain limitations, Matt, with some that are, we've got people all over the state on this call. So I don't know if you can speak to that. That might be something.
Yeah, I can do a basic speech, and I'm going to talk about like what makes some of them better than others. So I work in Pierce County, and then I have partners that work in King that I've known for years that can build, customize, stuff like that. One of the biggest things is customizing versus set plans. A lot of guys are coming out with this, and they're doing stock plans. That's what they do. They allow a little customization. I have an in-house designer, and we do it all from scratch. I do custom almost every single one. That's where Lisa and I were like, oh, you came a little late, because she already had a design plan, which I would have changed. Definitely, we had to change it. The kitchen wasn't designed right. There were some things that were just off, but to speak to your point, you can do non-owner occupied DADUs, so or property. So you have to have your existing house non-owner occupied only in like King County, a few of them will, and then it's only Tacoma and Lakewood right now that will allow non-owner occupied. UP is probably going to allow that next year. So this is for rental people, which is a very large portion that could have the desire and afford, though I am building for individual homeowners all the time now. I have 11 in process right now that are actually permitted. And then I have another like 5 that we're going through the motions of design or permitting. And I have a slew of people waiting for January and stuff. So it's been very promising, very good. The city wants this done. Speaking to the rest of the state, you can do DADUs almost everywhere. A lot of their code has been, it's 30, 40, 50 years old. So like I won't even go to Thurston really, because the amount of change you have all over here, and you have a lot of septics, you have a lot of wetlands, you have a lot of things. So you have to look at all these things when you do it, because even though they're under a different type of code, they have their own little code, they're still guided by traffic things and different other code items in the municipalities. I studied one in Thurston, and this gal was looking, because I was working with a real estate agent, and it was this municipality, this municipality, this municipality. I spent 20 hours, and I just won't do that. It's just too much of my time to take away from my good clients. But so you really have to research the municipality. Each one is its own beast. I know Puyallup, Spanaway, I know the whole Pierce County area pretty well. And most of them allow it. There's just a lot of weird rules. I mean, we have one where you have to do algebra in Fife. It's the weirdest code I've ever seen. So, it just depends on, I'm looking at one right down there right now and pricing out for a client. So they're very different all over. Tacoma and Lakewood are the most beneficial right now as we speak. And then after that is going to be UP. I've talked to the city council, or to the planners, city council. I've given them all the goods and bads of Tacoma, and they've sort of taken that and then have made their own, which looks like a really good code that they're going to make. And they will allow hopefully allow non-owner occupied as well, which is going to be a huge thing for UP. And King County is its own beast. I refer a couple different guys, just because King County is its beast of its own. Seattle City Light's probably the hardest thing to deal with up there, more than even the municipality itself. So there you go. There's the basis.
Okay. So if they're going to go like Yakima or something like that, they'll need to check with the county, the city, just
Now
making
you got to
sure.
talk with city. I would get a builder that knows some basic stuff,
Okay.
especially anybody that's done infill lots. Like we've done hundreds of infill lots in the city of Tacoma. And if you don't know what an infill lot is, there's a house here, there's a house here, and there's a lot in between them. We build on that lot in between. Or we'll buy a house, subdivide it, and put a house here, and then keep the existing house. Or we'll have a house right in the middle of two lots, and we'll move the whole house and then have another lot. We've done all of that, but we've done it since before I was born. My dad started in the 70s, and we've been doing it ever since. So when you do the DADUs, it's not much different, except it's dealing with code that doesn't have improvements. So we don't have to do street improvements, sidewalks, curb and gutter, all these things that they usually make you do. You can tie into existing sewer lines. You can come off your existing meter, water meter. Power is usually the same. You have to have your own separate service, a 200 amp service, but a lot of cheaper or less expensive. I wouldn't say cheaper. Nothing's cheaper anymore with inflation, but it's less expensive than building a new house. And that's the biggest thing for people, for rentals. You want something that is going to hopefully pencil. Now, I love Lisa. She's not that harsh on her rentals. I have a guy that rented out a 1-bedroom, 570 square foot unit off 48th and Pacific for $2,150 without a garage. So you can definitely get more for rent, guaranteed right now. Lisa, I apologize, but you are the lowest rent person I have in all my clients that have rented, and you are lower than anything I've rented as well. We have a lot of apartments ourselves. We build apartments. That's our other side of our business is apartments, multifamily, commercial. We sort of do most construction.
Okay, awesome. Candace, get ready to unmute your line. I think you probably have some questions. She's an investor as well, and our sales manager for Best Choice. But Matt, that's a great intro. So you got into this working with your dad. Are you finding that this is like your full-time gig? You do this Monday through Friday? What's your scheduling like?
Well, tonight I'm gonna have this, and then I'm going to meet the client at 7:30 till probably about 9 to close the deal tonight with a lady that's 87 years old and her kids. So
Wow.
and her kids are a lot older than me. So it just depends on the week. It depends on what people need. I did sales, so I was a real estate agent for a long time. So I'm used to working nights and weekends.
Yep.
Which I don't mind at all. And I've never found something that I've enjoyed more. I really just help people. Most of the time I'm educating, and then the rest of it is just explaining how financially this can work both ways, from either a standpoint from a mother-in-law or for a pure rental. And the beauty of the future is that they want us to be able to condo these in the city of Tacoma.
Right.
And that means, like, let's say you buy one for $250,000, that's all in, everything included for a 800 square foot unit. And now that thing is worth 420, okay? Because you can condo them. So there's going to be some rules in condoing. You have to survey the lot. You have to do some stuff. I've condoed lots of different things in the past, but if they allow that, you're going to have instant equity. Everyone that does one of these, like Lisa's, would instantly be worth, probably 375 or something like that. It would just be incredible. So the value in what is now is great because the rents are great and they're going to continually go up as interest rates stay or whatever happens here. We also lost probably 1,000, 1,200 homes in the city of Tacoma that were rentals while the market was so crazy. A lot of landlords sold their homes. So now we're in shortage again. And so that's why the city's pushing these so hard, because they are at a massive shortage. I mean, we can't build apartments quick enough, to match the need for rentals, which makes the price, because demand's so high. So supply demand issues, that's
Cool.
economics 101.
And Deanne, I guess the financing it's just an investment product, right? That we're doing for the DADUs?
I'll
Yes.
speak to that. Sorry,
Well-
I've probably done more than most.
Okay.
Renovation loans are great for if you are a owner occupied. You can do a rental loan. You can do a rehab, whatever rental loan. You can do a new construction loan. You
Okay.
can do. Some people have a pure refi. There's multiple ways to, and then you can go from there. But we've done 4 different types of loans already on these.
So it really depends on what your client's looking to do, how they want to maximize that.
We
And
found that the renovation loan, just to go in depth on that one, are really nice because you only have to do, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, about 5% equity you have to have on some of them.
Owner occupied.
On an owner occupied one. And, you know, I'm having more and more that want their parents to move. So the parents are selling their house, they own it outright, they're getting cash, so they have the cash. And then they're using the renovation potentially with the kids to really fund the thing in a way. And then they can keep their cash and they have equity in the house. And it just depends on all those factors, but it's been a pretty cool one for a couple of families that we've done them for.
awesome. Candace, did you have a question? For Matt?
Not as of yet. I guess you pretty much answered it though. It's kind of like if you wanted to start this type of project, it would be going to somebody who knows what they're doing. And I've got the municipality down and just kind of understanding the ins and outs of the county, the city that you're in and what they allow. Obviously, somebody like you, if I'm lucky to have you, would have a lot of that information and would know a lot in reference to, I don't know, I guess my big thing is like the setbacks and the space that you need to have and all those different things in reference to the size of the lot.
Right.
Versus the existing building on it.
Yeah, and I can go like Tacoma, for instance. We have 5-foot setbacks on side yards. We have 5-foot setbacks in the back if it doesn't have an alley, but if it's on an alley, it's 0 setback. If you 2-story, it changes all this stuff. It's too deep to go into right now. The key is hiring someone. If you want to do it yourself, the city has not been. I've had numerous clients complain about the city, and the city is taking forever with individual clients that are not going with a GC. And then there are GCs like I won't ever put someone under the bus, but there's numerous guys that we did not do general facing sales before. Like I never built for other people mainly. It was mainly in-house and we would flip and sell spec or whatever we did. Because I have a history of selling directly to the general public from real estate and stuff like that, it's been pretty easy for me to bring in the construction side to that. But there's a lot of guys that have started these that were not construction in the past and are now, and they do not have experience, and their lag times are like a year and a half to do one of these. Most of ours are like, I'd say 7-8 months is sort of our normal because you have 2 and 3 to 4. Okay. 2 for design, getting all the architectural, structural, 2 for the actual permits. Sometimes they take longer, and sometimes like I got one in 3 weeks. I wasn't even ready for it. I was like, 3 weeks, give me a break. It was so fast I couldn't even like breathe. So I'm like, how do I delay this? Well, we're gonna wait till after Christmas, and you know, you just have to do what you have to do. And then there's another 3 to 4 months for building. If they're small like Lisa's, they can go really fast. And the reason I'm going to get Lisa, is it okay if I give the example of what happened with the designer, with the architect?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let them
Okay,
learn from
so
me.
we had an issue on hers. Hers was done by a different person. I did not know who they were. Going forward, sorry, Lisa, but going forward, I will charge more if someone else uses their own architect. We had issues with it. We had to submit it to the city, change it where the location was from the alley to make it work a little better. The city it was in the summer. The city had 4 people on leave right then. It took us 6 weeks to get approval. It was, Lisa and I were both like tag teaming the city, like pounding them into the ground, and they don't care. And so when we do them, we usually don't have any delays. We don't have anything. I mean, we've done these a lot. I've designed, 30 of these things already, like truly, that are going into production of some sort. And we do them well. We do them with the eye of using every bit of space. How do we use that space efficiently? Her kitchen was all jacked up. We had to fix that whole thing, which was fine with the space we had. We moved it a little bit. We saved a little bit of space. But that's important to me. It's important for you to get what will, first of all, sellable later. I want it sellable later. And as an agent, if you're an agent out there, I mean, these are the future for investors. If you want to go sell a piece of property that has a nice piece. So like in the city, you have an average lot size of, and this is fluffy average, 50 by 100. So 50 feet wide by 100 feet deep. Okay.
Right.
So if you get a house like the standard, which was 15 to 20 feet off the front, you should be able to, in a normal house, like let's say 12 to 1400 square feet, which a lot are, at least on one story, they're not usually bigger than that. Usually they're smaller. They're like 800 to 900 square feet. And then you might have 2-story or something. You usually have, 50, 60 feet in the back, 50 feet in the back at least. Okay. Well, in the back, then if you're on an alley, you definitely can build one of these. So if you're selling to an investor who's buying, the key is knowing ahead what that lot should semi look like. You don't have to know it all, or you send me the thing and I look it up for you. Okay. Because this is what is going to be the best bang for someone's buck to get into multifamily. I was pricing out one the other day. I mean, it was in Ruston, had view sensitivity. It would have probably, me and the owner were talking about it, and she's a developer. And we were like, this thing's going to cost 1.5, 1.6 million to build a fourplex. Well, she can build this DADU for $230,000 all in. And it's a no-brainer. The DADU, she keeps the house so she doesn't have to tear down an already money producing asset. And then she builds this other one. Yeah, she only has a duplex, but if you can con them in time, it's not going to be as worth as the fourplex, but you're not going to be into it for anywhere as much money. And so you have to really look at the value proposition of each one, what your debt to, I mean, all the things that are going to go on with the lending side of it, and really figure out, because in this market, as it's been changing, this is still an awesome opportunity because you don't have to buy the land with the DADU. And that's the key. You already have the land, you're using an asset that you already own, and now you're going to improve it to be worth that much more.
Awesome.
Right.
That's very detailed and great, Matt. I know a lot of people have been sending me messages like, how do I get more involved? Like, what do I need to do to prospect for these type of opportunities? And definitely Lisa posted to everybody, you want to involve your title company, and you want to make sure if you are an investor yourself looking for these opportunities, give yourself some time. A lot of them can be negotiated right now with feasibility studies, where you may not have to do a full inspection, but you want to just make sure that it's feasible to do what Matt's talking about doing. And that gives yourself in a week or two, to kind of figure out the logistics of, does this pencil out? Does this property work? Can you speak to that? Like, do you have clients, I guess, that are prospecting for that kind of business, Matt? Like they're actually.
They're not always my clients. They're a lot of times an agent's client, and I'm just helping. I'm not trying to take away from. I'm only helping. I'm here to help. So,
Right.
So in my mind, I work with a lot of agents already, and with that, I'm going to say, okay, here, let me give you a showing of what it would look on Dart map. Okay, the city map. I take that, I sort of draw where it would be. And then they can take that and go, okay, I like this house, I don't like this house. And that's really where it comes down to. From a standpoint of doing it, the actual DADU, a lot of times people don't have the money to do a house and then a DADU right away, okay? So this isn't always a play of like, hey, I'm going to do this in, 6 months. I'm going to buy the house and build this thing in record time, okay? That's not the purpose. My purpose isn't to hard sell. My purpose is to educate, teach, and let you do what you can fit in. So most people that I assume are going to buy a house, and then in 2 years, they're probably going to do the DADU then, especially if they're getting financing already. How hard is it to refi? Speaking to the lender, within a year of buying that property, it's not always the best with loans, with prepayment penalties, whatever it is, especially in investment properties. So you want to just have an idea of, this isn't just in 2 seconds you're getting this one and this other one. It's a long-term play, right? And you're helping them build up a portfolio that will be a lifetime of greatness, in its own right. And if anything, if this market goes down, I'd even push someone to say, hey, buy 2 properties. Don't build the DADUs yet. Buy the 2 while they're down, okay?
Yep.
While interest rates are higher. Buy the properties when the prices are lower, and then do these in a year or when your budget allows for that. And that will allow them to have 4 properties potentially instead of just the one in the DADU. Now, some people that will work, some people won't. I don't know, but it's just another opportunity to build the portfolio.
Awesome.
Well,
Rachel,
and I'd love to add something on that real quick. What's really great about doing the DADUs in this situation is you can rent the front, and that's one thing that I did. I rented the front, it paid for the mortgage above and beyond, and they understood that and we put in the lease that there was a construction and they're going to have to live with it, and they could have a little bit of reduced rent, or a lot of it in Matt's world. So with that, get creative, because how many investors want to walk into a world where they're not losing $1 while they're building, great equity on the back end. And that to me is one of the magic ingredients. Plus you can sell this with multi-generation if this doesn't work out for you.
Mhm.
Well, and another thing, going off what Lisa
Mhm.
said, I've done a lot of investing in different ways, and I've helped a lot of guys when I was an agent. I was helping a lot of flippers getting out of the recession where they'd all gone bankrupt. Okay. And so a lot of them are using hard money. And I'm not saying that hard money is the best way to go on a total amount, but sometimes you can't get a loan, and any lender can speak to this. You're not going to approve for that upfront, but maybe you do this, but you can get your long-term financing when it's all built and you can get that done properly, but they can't fill that gap per se. I do know a lot of guys getting hard money or it's starting to happen on these where they'll do it because they know it's short term. We can keep it pretty fast and we don't have to have a lot of money up front. So we're doing the plans, we're doing all that stuff. There's no hard money cost hardly at all. And then it turns into that. And then that long-term help, as Danielle's saying, you can get that and it's still, she can help facilitate a lot of stuff, but it's just another way of getting that. If a client is more pushing for that, that would be the way to go as long as they have some cash. And then they can turn that into long-term financing as a whole, which works better. A lot of times the appraisers are starting to get on board, but sometimes the appraisers can still be sticklers until there's an actual building there. So from talking with the lenders, that's been something that I've seen that could happen in this next stage of our market, where hard money is used as the in-between and then the long-term normally, which I don't know, as a lender, do you care either way, as long as it's, going to do well for your client, right? I mean, that's usually what we're all looking for. So that's just another option.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that being a problem, Matt, but I think if you have the right appraisal and lending team that sees the project and the valuation, I don't see that being a problem. If you can paint the picture. I think it's
and that's going to be more of a savvy person that knows a little bit more of what they're doing already. I wouldn't refer it to, the guy down the street that's doing his first one ever. No, save up your money and do it right, but from a person that has done multiple investments and understands the concepts and understands the risk. I mean, there's risk in all this. So I wouldn't push it that way on anybody new, but it would be something as another option.
Nice.
great. I've got Rachel in Snohomish. I think Rachel, Mike Appleby, he's with Chicago Title. He's works with Lisa, Matt. He's been pushing DADUs for a long time up in Snohomish. So I know that they're still doing a lot up there as well. Is there anything that Matt said that doesn't work for Snohomish? I think everything he said holds true, even in that county. Is that right, Rachel?
Yeah, it's true. And Snohomish County is a little bit further behind as far as moving forward with the ADUs and DADUs. Right now, you can do one on any properties that setbacks and everything allow. The city of Everett is working on getting on board with this as well. So we'll have more information within the first quarter of this upcoming year. And the proposal they have is to be able to put 2 off of the back alleyways within the city of Everett. So that will be a huge opportunity area. And then the same thing with moving towards being able to condo them will make a big difference as well.
Well,
And,
so
and
anything
Seattle allows condoing right now. So
Yeah.
just I mean, that Seattle is by far who everyone's following. Like, they don't even allow you to tap into the water lines anymore, the main water lines. You have to, for DADUs, you have to sub-meter off, and you have to do a sub-meter so that it can be condoed. So that means you have to put a sub-meter in after the fact when you survey it. So, but that's not really necessary in Tacoma or even Snohomish right now. I mean, I know some clients that are in Snohomish and stuff like that. Again, I work with other guys. I just don't have the subcontractor base up there, and I really don't want to travel up that far. Sorry, but that's just,
I know.
It's
It's
better to
better
have
to drive.
someone local.
If you're looking for information on a property, just to get a preliminary understanding if it's worth moving forward to talk to someone further about ADUs, your title company can help. So Chicago Title, reach out to Lisa or I, and we can do the initial dig in to say, okay, technically this property would be allowable for 1 ADU or 2 and things like that. And then you can find out whether it fits within setbacks and everything. So we're a good place to start.
Okay, awesome. And that's like 6 o'clock, Matt, just like 30 minutes of power, half hour, what we do. Was there any other questions, Lisa or Candace, that have come up on your desk?
I was looking in the chat. I don't have anything. I have some good feedback. This is Lisa. Just sharing that that's the difference. No, your builder has to know the setbacks. Using your property.
I'm thinking sewer, Matt, I mean, to avoid some of the basic questions is like, it's gotta be on sewer, right? To be able to do that. Septic is not is a no-go.
No, you can do septic. It's just going to be, it took us an extra 3 months because Pierce County sucks. So they're the slowest entity in our whole area. And Pierce County Sewer, and they have nice people there, but they're just super slow. They had 3 people retire. TPU's been taking a long time to come with utilities just because they had 4 people retire. They had so many overtime hours, they're forcing them to hire more people because it's costing the place so much. So they can be a pain. But like anybody, as we do this more, because we've only been doing this 2 years, because that's as long as the code's really been out, enough time for anybody to even know what was going on, because it came out in 2019, but no one really started taking advantage of it until 2020. And like, we now have an engineer at TPU that we go out as soon as we submit for permits. We take that TPU rep out, we pay for our permit for TPU for power, and they come out to the site and we know exactly where it's going, because their delay on one of ours is going to take a while. And it's nothing we did wrong. We did it the same as we've been doing it for 40 years, and they're changing. So we have to always evolve with what they are. Another thing is to remember is, as these go, we have to update with permits, all the things that come up. Energy code may be changing in February again, which is ridiculous. Like, we're not gonna be able to build these houses pretty soon. They're gonna be like, I don't know. I don't even know how we're gonna make them so energy efficient, but somehow we will. But a lot of times those don't affect the DADUs as much because they're so small. Anything over 1,500 square feet or more is where that really starts affecting you a lot of times with energy code. So that's another blessing in disguise, because you can go a max of 1,000 square feet in Tacoma. I won't get into all the rules because obviously we were done, but I gave my phone number and email. If anybody has, wants to talk, I'm available, or has someone that's interested and needs to see a property. Again, I'm mainly Pierce. Puyallup can do it. We're doing a couple in Puyallup, which are good and bad. They just take a lot longer. The other municipalities outside of Lakewood and Tacoma take longer. They're just going to take 2-3 more months. Almost always. A lot of Puyallup is sewer, but you're dealing with Pierce County for that. Furcrest even can take a long time. There's just a lot of them that take way longer.
Well, it's just getting in touch with the right people, Matt. I like your practical approach to things. We were definitely treated tonight with your knowledge base and just taking the time out. I know it's busy around the holidays too, and end of year, we get a lot of investor questions. So the topic was definitely pertinent, and I'm sure with you guys providing great resources over at Chicago Title, some of those questions on whether it's possible or what the plat maps look like or the setbacks, a lot of those things can be determined just by calling your title rep. So thanks, Matt, again, for taking time out. I'm sure we will be in touch soon. I know there's a lot of people that are already just picking up great ideas for this year and beyond. So looking forward to talking with you more. And thanks for your knowledge base. I took a ton of notes just as you're talking. I'm trying to meet people.
So really, like, even for Lisa, I'll tell title reps, if you have a title rep and you guys want to get together and I go over Dart map, I can show you guys how to do this. Like Rachel, it sounds like you're up north, but like Lisa, I could teach Lisa how to do this, especially with like a person like Lisa, with her knowledge of investing in all the people. I can teach someone like that has that kind of knowledge in about 30 minutes. You can know the basics, and it's very easy to go from there. Now, you're never going to be perfect, but it gives you a fluffy ability to talk to someone and really feel like you know what you're talking about. So, which is nice because it helps the person out. So.
Awesome. So there's definitely opportunity out there that we can harness if we know who we got the right people to connect with. So appreciate that, Matt. Lisa, any final questions? It was nice to use your opportunity as an example tonight. Thank you for sharing that personal investment story with us. It's always helpful for our group to actually go, the water's warm, jump in, you guys. It's not that hard to do it if you have the right people working the details out. But if you have the wrong people, man, you'll pull your hair out. That's for sure. All right, fantastic. And then don't forget, there is a link Deanne posted for some great market updates. If you want to jump on that link, I've got to grab it because I missed the meeting this morning. So if you wanted to grab that, go ahead. And we will talk to you next Monday is the holiday. So Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. We will take a bye next week. So if you want to jump on tomorrow morning at 9:30, we're going to be Northwest MLS. Matt, you probably remember them. There's all kinds of tools and tips we're not taking advantage of. We're going to go over that tomorrow morning at 9:30. So if you want some extra training on that, jump on tomorrow. Candace and I are going to grill them. Right, Candace? Get my
I gotta get
boxing
the
gloves
questions
on.
ready. Thanks for the heads up.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Matt, Lisa, and Rachel, and Deanne.
Thank you all. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.